Let's begin coding out our FizzBuzz algorithm by defining it as a function. This function will take in a single parameter, a number that we will call num. Now, for every number from 1 to num, we want to perform some kind of action. Either we want to log out that number or log out a word in place of that number, such as fizz or buzz, etc. So in order to do this, we will loop through every number from 1 to num using a for loop. We will say for variable I equals 1, while I is less than or equal to num, we want to increase I by 1 on every iteration, so I++. Now, here in the code block, we want to deal with each number, which is represented by the variable I. We know that if the number, or I, is divisible by 3, then we want to log out the word fizz instead of the number. So let's start with that. And to do this, we will use the modulus operator that we just covered in the previous lecture. We will say if I modulus 3 equals 0, meaning that I is evenly divisible by 3, then we will console log out the word fizz. Great. Now we will do a similar operation if the number, or I, is divisible by 5. We know that if the number is divisible by 5, then we want to log out the word buzz this time. So we will say else if I modulus 5 equals 0, we want to console log out the word buzz. Now we want to deal with the case in which the number is divisible by both 3 and 5, in which case we want to log out the word fizzbuzz. Now, you might be thinking that we should just do another else if statement like this. Else if I modulus 3 equals 0 and I modulus 5 equals 0, console log out fizzbuzz. But this will not work for us. The reason that it won't work is because any number that is divisible by either 3 or 5 would already have entered one of these previous if-else statements, and would therefore not be able to enter this last one. This is because only one if-else statement can be executed in this group of them. So, how do we solve for this? Well, the solution is actually quite simple. We will move this bottom line up to the top and refactor it to be just an if statement. And this will work. Now, if a number is divisible by both 3 and 5, this if statement will be the first one that it reaches. Then it will continue down the code block. And finally, down here at the end, if the number is not divisible by 3 or 5, we will simply log out that number. And to clean up our code a little bit, we can actually change this statement up here to instead be if I modulus 15 equals 0, then log out fizzbuzz. Because we know that being divisible by both 3 and 5 is the same as being divisible by 15. And that is it. That is our FizzBuzz algorithm. In the next lecture, we will test it to make sure that it works as we expect it to. See you in the next lecture.